The writer of the passage suggests, what does he suggest? Well, the answer is number D. He suggests, as times have changed, the basis of education has expanded. Because once upon a time, you see, there was only what you call rhetoric and other kinds of logic, you see, students were trained in, you see, in ancient Rome and Greece. But now the things are different because the basis of education has expanded. You have got so many things in education, including social media. So the correct answer is number D. Take the next question. The passage points out an important difference between traditional media and social media is that. The difference is number B. That is, traditional media tries to present different points of view. You see, that is the point he's trying to make, because social media, it might reach more people and you see, but it's not balanced, you see. It's not balanced because social media, when you see some groups or some person may subscribe to a particular ideology or a particular point of view, and he may tell lies, he may or she may well spread fake news or lies, and they want you to subscribe to their views, and unwittingly, unknowingly, people do what you call agree with what is on the social media without inquiring into the authenticity of the news. So, what is the difference between traditional media? The traditional media, he says, would present both sides of the coin, right? The print media, most of the time, even now today, you can, if you read the print media or the what you call the editorials, you'll find that the editor tries to present as far as possible a balanced view, you see, both sides of the coin. So the answer is number B. The next question, social media is dangerous in its ability to influence opinion and readers through the point just I made. That is, its ability to guide the reader to motivated conclusions, right? It's in ways, you see, it's biased and prejudiced, and it might motivate the reader to, you see, agree with the conclusions, you see, it has made. Well, you have the word vested interest. Vested interest is, of course, self-serving intentions. That's a very common phrase. You say politicians or some X, Y, Z are working, you see, for their vested interest. That is their self-serving intentions. The answer is C. The antonym for spurious is what you call genuine, right? Spurious is something dubious, something fake, something false, something fraudulent. Okay? And the opposite of spurious would be genuine. The answer is number D. The writer of the passage calls social media the present-day version of the Roman Forum because it is a space for what? Spreading spurious arguments, right? It's a little ironical because once upon a time, logic and rhetoric were taught so that the students are able to recognize spurious arguments. Now, this is ironical that the present-day version, you see, has itself become a receptacle for spreading spurious arguments. The answer is number D. The impatient and intolerant mother made every effort to domineer her children, to dominate the child's lives, denominate her children, dominion her children. Number D is grammatically incorrect, and C is also incorrect. You can't denominate children or dominion children. You don't have such what you call collocations or verbs, you see, that can be used this way. Now you're going to make a choice between A and B, that is, domineer her children or dominate the child's lives. The thing is, look at this sentence. It says the impatient and intolerant mother. You see, she's impatient, she's irritable, she's intolerant. She would make an effort to domineer her children. That is number A, to boss over her children, right? Not number B. Because if parents, you see, dominate their child's lives, it could be positive also, right? They could be a kind of motivation for the children. You say he has a dominating personality. That is a personality which perhaps everybody, you see, likes to listen to him, a dominating personality. So domineer is actually, you see, trying to boss over someone. So the answer is number A. To avoid the ecological issues, scientists and government agencies consider how sustainable development affects the citizen. You see, the first effects cannot be used here because it means to bring about, to happen. Okay. The second can be used, that is a verb, right? Affects the citizens, influences the citizen. Okay, so the answer is B. C cannot be the answer. It doesn't make any sense. It's affective to the citizen. Affective has to do with your emotions and is affectionate to the citizen. That is, I mean, how can you feel that development is affectionate to the citizen? So the answer is number B. I now have more productive time during the day because I keep the office gossips a foot away, at arm's length, at base length, out of harm's way. So the correct phrase is at arm's length. That is, keep it at a distance. You have the word at bay, but you don't have at bay's length. Okay, the collocation, the phrase is at bay. You say that, well, we kept ourselves at bay when the dispute started. So it can be at bay, but it cannot be at bay's length. So the correct answer is number B. We need to cut down on our expenses so that we are able to make ends meet. That is A. You make ends meet, that is, you're able to sufficiently carry out your expenses, right? Your day-to-day expenses. A portion of the house collapsed because the contractor, you say, cut corners and built it with very poor quality materials. You cut corners when you try to save money, you see. You want to save money and you try to cut down your expenses. So that is cut corners. You can't have bite the bullet or made a fortune or short-changed places. They are incorrect. You can't short-change places. Short-change means to deceive. And bite the bullet is doing something, start doing something which you have been avoiding, you see, because it was unpleasant. Our team has won every single match that they have played since January. They seem to be rolling in luck. They seem to be rolling in luck, rolling in money, on a roll, on a roller coaster. The exact phrase is on a roll. Rolling in luck is a general phrase. It's a general phrase which simply means you are fortunate. But on a roll, when you meet with success and victory again and again, then you say on a roll. So number C is the correct option. Other politicians may have claims to seniority over their peers based upon their accomplishments and their ability to lead campaigns. But Alexander Ocasio-Cortez, who is often described as merely being a junior member of the House of Representatives, as merely being. So the correct option here is number D, as a mere junior member of the House of the Representatives. Number A and number B, they just don't fit into the scheme of things. As merely being a junior member, as being a merely junior member, and then you have for merely being a junior described is who's often described for being. That is incorrect. The short and the correct way of saying is as a mere junior member of the House of Representatives. Take the next one. Although the coastal city of Kundapur was once home to a flourishing maritime trade, their economy has been dependent in more recent years on the cotton, textile and sugar industries. Look at what is the subject. The subject is the coastal city of Kundapur. The coastal city. That is singular. So you can't have their economy. You should say its economy. And when you say its economy, then B is the correct answer. Number 1 cannot be the correct because number 1 means it is. But we require a possessive here. Its economy. Take the next sentence. Due to the progress in the field of modern science and advances in nutrition and hygiene, less people die every year from infectious diseases than ever before. So you have one less is incorrect. You generally say fewer. The other thing is then, THEN then. You can't say THEN then. You say THAN than. Okay, THAN than. So a good way of saying would be every year fewer people die from infectious diseases than have ever before. Right? So the correct answer is number D. Captive breeding has helped revive wildlife such as Eurasian beaver, the cheetah, and the Arabian onyx. Several species have been reintroduced into locations in order that the ecological balance is restored. When herbivorous bandicoots were set free in the wild, they dug the ground and redistributed dry leaves and branches, reducing the chance of bushfires. But some predators may overhunt or threaten other vulnerable species. The answer is number 3. The revival of the ecosystem therefore depends on the eating habits of the animals introduced therein. Take the next sentence. Postponed from last year, the Tokyo Olympics are set to begin this year. The locals are wary, the athletes are anxious, training sessions are truncated, and restrictions are extensive. Then you say Japan is going through an economic recession and could run out of funds. Yet Japan. When you say yet Japan, that means the preceding sentence, you has to do something with Japan. Okay, so the correct answer is number D. When we think about listening, we tend to assume that it is basically the same thing as hearing, same as hearing. This is what? This is a what? This is a misconception because it leads us to believe that effective listening is instinctive. As a result, we make little effort to learn or develop listening skills and thereby neglect a vital communication function. The answer is number D. As vaccination rates rise and governments relax their pandemic regulations, the recovery of the events ecosystem is happening faster than expected. Event management professionals see the number of events and event attendance reaching and potentially surpassing pre-pandemic levels in 2019. So the correct answer is number A. This man was actually the manager the company ever had. So the answer is number C. This well-groomed, assertive man was actually the compassionate manager the company ever had. The best strategy is to give an appraisal. To give an appraisal is to deliver it orally as well as in writing. So the correct answer is number C. Take the next sentence. The Aravalli Range is the oldest surviving geological feature anywhere in the world. These were once tall mountains, possibly as high as the Himalayas. Over hundreds of millions of years, these tall mountains have been eroded to low hills and ridges. Yet these diminutive hills have been witness to important events in history. I think the answer is number C. You have 4 sentences. You see, naturally the fauna of the region varies with climatic changes. That's correct. Some plants adapt themselves to a variety of climatic conditions. That's correct. When the last tree dies in the climactic sea, now it's not climatic, it's climactic. The climactic means referring to the climax, right? So that's also correct. The climactic change from summer to winter, it's not climatic changes from summer to winter. It is a climatic changes. It's not talking about the climate, CLIMATE. So the answer is D. D is incorrect. Take the next sentence. The lives of the little princess in the large castle in the rich city were luxurious. Luxurious definitely means elegant, comfortable, right? Involving great expense. That is luxurious. And then you say the rooms were adorned with luxuriant trimmings of gold, silk and velvet. That is incorrect. Luxuriant generally refers to something which is prolific, which is lush, which is growing well, rich, abundant, super abundant, profuse, right? That is luxuriant. So you can't use the word luxuriant here. You should say you can use the word what you call luxurious, right? You can say that it was the rooms were adorned with luxurious trimmings of gold, silk and velvet. You shouldn't say luxuriant. C and D are correct. Number B is incorrect. You should say luxurious, not luxuriant. Take the next sentence. The king was under intensive pressure. That is wrong. You see, intensive has a different meaning. Okay, you make an intensive study, a deep study. But when you're talking about a burden or a pressure, it is intense. So number 1 is incorrect, right? The other B, C, and D are correct. The intense debate between the states with intensive study, the subject's loathing of the cruel emperor was intense, that is deep. But number 1 is incorrect. It should be intense. Take the next sentence. There is the use of the word appraise. You see, appraise is incorrectly used in number D. In the rest, A, B, C, appraise is correctly used. In number 1, it means we called a mechanic to appraise, that is to evaluate the car. Okay. Number 2, it is apprise. Apprise means to acquaint with, to inform. Number 3, the three are expected to appraise their own performance, that is appreciate their own performance, make judicious appreciation. Number 4, it should be apprise. You apprise the commanding officer, you don't appraise the commanding officer. So number D is incorrect. Take the next sentence. He says, the young girl said, I now request our chief guest to come forward for the lighting of the lamp. Okay, that's correct. Number 2 is also correct. They were struck by lightning. Correct. Number 3 is incorrect. It should be skin lightening products. LIGHTENING. Skin lightening, to lighten the skin. Okay, not skin lightening. So number 3 is incorrect. Number 4 is correctly used.
The best sentence to start will be the 4th sentence. Why? It introduces the subject. To succeed in today's global marketplace, it is essential to learn as much as possible about the conditions in overseas market. Now, you want to succeed in global marketplace, then you need to know about the conditions in overseas markets. Okay. So this introduces the subject, that how you can get success. Now we are talking about in the past. We are relating with this sentence, the first one, which says in the past, companies with international aspirations. So we are talking about overseas markets here, and now we are focusing upon the companies with international aspirations simply familiarized themselves with any differences in the legal system or in the procedures used in the day-to-day business of import and export. Modern trade, however, this word however is basically says it's a thought reversal. It changes the idea what happened in the past and what is happening today. It is functioning as a connector between the two sentences. Modern trade, however, demands more from companies, and what it demands today, the company seeking international success must also understand the people who live and work in countries they deal with, how they think, behave, and do business. So when we look at the answer order, it will be 4, 1, 2, 3 for this question. Let's look at the next question. It mentions, now it focuses on what? It focuses on the article in a magazine. Therefore, 3 must be the starting statement. Should celebs always have a take, ask an article in a magazine? Okay. It mentions a video on TikTok that questioned an influencer's possible views on the Israel-Palestine crisis. So immediately after 3, we have 1 because we have a mandatory pair here where 1 talks about the article. And now look at the question. Question on influential possible views. We say, do you guys even care about the issue? Or do you care about influencers caring about the issue? Now we had talked about influencers possible views on the Israel-Palestine crisis. So we are saying influencers caring about the issue. Which issue we are talking about? The Israel-Palestine crisis. So after 3 and then 1 and we will get 4. Okay. And the last sentence will be what? The second, which is a kind of concluding, or it's talking overall about the sentence. Social media has given us the expectation that every video, every tweet needs to be irreproachable. Irreproachable means without fault, and encompass the lived experiences of the audience. Encompass basically means it covers it, like kind of and includes everything. Therefore, the answer order for this question will be 3, 1, 4, 2. Look at the last one. 3 will be the starting statement. It talks about 12,500 leopards in India stray into villages. They stray into villages due to their shrinking habitat. And it explains with an example which is mentioned in the one in a recent incident. Villagers in a tea estate were shocked to find a leopard cub in a trench. Now be careful, before like it was taken to the area where she was discovered and reunited with her mother, the wildlife vet examined and declared it to be uninjured and but dehydrated. So after one, the sentence that must follow is fourth. The wildlife vet has examined and now they are going where to the area where she was discovered and reunited with her mother. So the answer order with this question will be what? 3, 1, 4.